All right, folks, here we go. We got a turn to we got a good one here tonight. I was about to get off a little track there a minute, but we got the CRL. We got the ARCA Series here, and these guys, don't adjust, man, anything computer-wise, but we are going to go not only left, but we're going to go some right turning tonight too. Uphill, downhill, all kinds of stuff. As we got Watkins Glen here in the mix. It's qualifying underway right now, and we can't talk about road racing without talking about probably one guy, and that's Caleb Smith. Came very close to winning the Daytona race, and should be interesting. But I got a Joshua Altus up here in the booth with me. Man's been on the car here the last couple of weeks. So, Joshua, right off the bat, I know these ARCA cars, they're not new, but they are new because they're way different than what the old ARCA car was. This is more based on the Gen 4 style car.
That's right, Joe. It's good to be back up here with you, man. After about a month hiatus, I had to jump in the car to see what all this fuss was about, and ended up having a really good time, and wanted to get out there and get at least a win. So happy to to click one off. But yeah, we're up here in Watkins Glen tonight, gonna watch some really good road course racing. And we were just talking, before we came on, Joe, we got a really stout field. Caleb Smith is always one you got to watch. Rob Sherwood is another one that's become really, really good at road course racing. Logan Brakey, and then, who knows about Austin Coop, who came out of nowhere and just dominated last week.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, so it'll be interesting to see what we got tonight. Couple inside things here. Obviously, no caution, so pit strategies are definitely going to play a unique factor here tonight on whether or not you're going to, when do you pit, when do you not pit, tire wear. We were talking about the car. I was talking to Jacob there before the race, and obviously with you being back up here too, and you now being able to see what this car does, and by talking with some of the other guys in the past, most of the times I've always heard this car's tight. It's easy to drive. But this is a road race tonight, and a lot of guys are saying it might be a little easy to snap this thing loose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be really, really interesting to see how it goes. I think it was a really good comparison to like the old Gen 6 Cup car as well. They're just very planted, unlike any of the trucks or anything that I'm used to running. So it very much builds tight. And I know Rob Sherwood specifically I spoke with, and he was just talking about just kind of lacking the lateral grip, and it's really hard to maneuver and turn these cars. So when you see these guys entering like the bus stops and whatnot, you'll see these guys kind of get up on the curbs a little bit, and you got to be careful that you don't want to hit the curb wrong, because it'll really, really upset the car if you don't hit it right. But if you hit it just right, it'll actually help rotate the car. So keep an eye on that tonight too.
We talked about too. They just had a new update. Just had week 13 pass by here at iRacing, and that's when they do all their updates, new content, and so forth. The biggest talk was the GT3 cars, and I reference them a lot when it comes to road racing because I love GT3 cars. I raced them a lot. That's probably the one thing that I raced the most on when it came to road racing. But they did a redo on the tire model with them, and a lot of guys are saying, man, those things race like the real ones. And I've always said that a GT3 style car is planted to the ground, and lack of a better word, I don't want to say it's easy to drive, but it doesn't get out from under you, as opposed to like a stock car. It's like a brick bent on wheels going around. It's not planted to it. So the next gen car, Joshua, as opposed to this one, is probably a night and day. As opposed to that next gen, probably is going to feel way planted. This one here's got that Gen 4 characteristic about it, where it's still a driving style car.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guys that are really, really good road course drivers, like we referenced already, Caleb Smith, Rob Sherwood being a couple of them, they're going to be able to really, I call it manhandling the car, right? as we see Rob Sherwood just goes top of the board right there, just barely beats Bobby Mantle. But those are the guys that, you know, who can really manhandle the car and kind of throw it around and you know, get the car to respond how they want it to. You know, those are the guys that I think are going to be the most successful here tonight.
Well, let's bring up, because I don't see Rob Sherwood out there, but we're going to bring up Bobby Mantle right here, who, like you just said, just unfortunately just got off the top block there. Bobby, did you wait to booth got the copy?
I hear you.
Well, man, I tell you what, you had the pole here tonight, but it looks like Rob Sherwood just snuck it in there and took it from you by, I mean, just a couple hundredths there, just not too much. But how are you feeling? We were talking about, me and Josh was talking about how these cars are reacting out here and like some of the other drivers, but how are you feeling about this car going into this race tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. I love Watkins Glen. This car is a bit more of a handful than I'm used to with the Xfinity and the trucks, but I'm feeling pretty good going in tonight. It's kind of a tough battle with this car. There's a fine line of going through these corners and feeling like you're going a little too slow. You want to push it a little bit more, and then it just wants to break loose on you. So it's going to be a different animal to try and fight tonight, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, good luck out there. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, real quick. Sorry, I just want to get a quick question in real quick. Bobby, you know, we've talked about a couple different drivers of just like the handling characteristics of the car. And I think a popular topic a lot of people are talking about is just like the lack of lateral grip. You know, what do you think is going to be the toughest balance of this car to fight tonight?
I think it's, like I said, it's just going to be finding that fine line of trying to find enough speed without kicking this thing loose, because all it takes is just you wanting to push that extra little bit in one corner and it's gone away from you. So really it's going to be a battle of attrition tonight, and who can keep their lap times up without pushing the car too much and losing it.
Well, looks like you're going to have a pretty good starting spot, you know, no matter what here. So keep her straight and good luck tonight, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
There we go. That's Bobby Mantle. Well, I do want to really quick, this guy I definitely want to talk to, Caleb Smith, just real quick. I know qualifying's coming down to a close here, and the guys are going to get set here for the green flag, but got to get this guy's insight, man, here, because I know he's anticipating this one. Caleb, join the booth. Get cop.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Well, I know you've checked this one on your calendar. You're excited. You came close at the beginning of this season to winning the Daytona race. Chris just snuck that one out. We've talked to some guys, though. How are you feeling in this car on this track tonight?
I mean, the car feels really good. I feel like it gets better as the run progresses. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take tires at this midway pit stop we're going to have to take. But it definitely is better the longer the race goes. I messed up turn 1 in qualifying, so that kind of bounced me around. So I think I'm sitting 4th at the moment. But I mean, yeah, car feels good. Watkins Glen isn't my best road course, but I'm excited. I feel like it's going to be a good points day as long as we can get through turn 1. I think that's the key.
You know, it's kind of unique there, man. To hear you say that Watkins Glen's probably not your best road course, because we see you as the road course ringer. But Joshua, man, got anything for him? I'm going to tell you, because I think this is the guy here to watch here tonight, along with a couple others.
Yeah, Caleb, it's kind of funny role reversal here, having me up in the booth and interviewing you as a driver. But we know you're always kind of the road course guy everyone looks to. Just same question I had for Bobby. I know you do a lot of different forms of road racing, but what do you think the biggest challenges are going to be with this car and like the handling characteristics?
It's the lack of grip going into the corners. You know, in the GT cars and all that, you have like the ABS, so you can like get into the corner harder, and you have that traction control to kind of lean on. In this car, you have none of it. So I still like stock cars on road courses more, but it's definitely completely different than GT cars and Formula cars. I mean, here you just have to be patient on the throttle, really.
Cool, man. We'll go get them and make it hard on Rob tonight, okay?
I will.
Well, there you go, Caleb Smith getting back down. Well, folks, I tell you what, let's get our starting grid here presented by SimRacingMerc.com and use the promo code CRL2025. As because we just talked to him, well, we wasn't able to talk to him because Rob Sherwood still in the pole here tonight. But we did talk to this man. Bobby Mantle's going to start on the outside. That's Bowdy. I say he's got that secret weapon. His wife, man, has really showed up, and he's used that to his advantage the last couple of weeks. She's been spotting for him. Starting in third, just talked to the man here that we say is a road race ringer. We'll see what he can do. Starting fourth, Daniel Miller there in fifth. Mike Kelly up in sixth. We got Logan Brakey going to start seventh. Zachary Fowdy, he's there in eighth place. Jacob Grant, talked to him before the race. He's feeling pretty confident. He says it's going to be a tricky track tonight, starting ninth. We got Steve Rubino right there starting in the 10th place spot. Scott Simley in 11th. Justin Curtis there in 12th. We got old Joe Spinelli starting 13th. Bradley Murphy in the 14th. Chris Smith starting 15th. Wayne Chapman 16th. Andy Coop, he's a man. He dominated last week. Qualifying not so good, starting 17th. Abraham Ghost right there in the 18th spot. David Brzezinski, he's in 19th. Joshua Gillian starting 20th. 21st, Kenyon Jackson. 22nd, Shane Hughes. 23rd, Danny White. And we got Austin McCullen. Like he didn't take a thing there, but he's starting in the 24th spot as well. You got 24 machines out here tonight. Got some notes here. Wayne Chapman's going to have an EOL tonight. Unfortunate, man. Little rule breaking last week cost him, and he's going to have to be in the back to start this race. But it's going to be all Bobby Mantle, Sherwood up front. Got to give a shout out to some of our sponsors here tonight. You know, Grant's Designs, and we, like I say, I talked to Jacob. Joshua, I know you've talked to him there. You've raced on the track with him. He's done an outstanding job here with the ARCA Series. But definitely check out Grant's Designs on Instagram. TimRacingMerc.com. Like I said, use promo code CRL 2025. We'll get you some off on your purchase there. Definitely check those out. Tim Racing Merc. CRL Podcast, YouTube, Spotify. Go to CleanRacingLeague.com, and it's in the name, Clean Racing League. Definitely check out the links for those things there, too. And obviously, we're going to go to our green flag with the Platinum Service VA here tonight. And also want to give one more shout out there, man, because Joshua, you had a new sponsor on your truck there, and you asked me to do it, the Apex Mountain Apparel. So appreciate those guys coming on board on your new truck out there this week. But, man, it's going to be interesting, Joshua, tonight. Watkins Glen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, and I appreciate you giving them a shout out again. Really cool to have Apex Mountain Apparel on board my truck, and just, you know, you already said it, Joe, just a huge thank you to all our partners and that helped put this on. Jacob Grant's done a phenomenal job with this first season, and got a little four race playoff here. You know, this is race 2. Basically what we did is we have 10 drivers, and it's cumulative points for these that's 4 races, and it's, you know, it's all types of different tracks. So we had the 1.5 miles last week. We got a road course, and then I want to say we have maybe a super speedway and then a short track. So got to tackle them all, and Jacob Grant is leading the points, 2 points over, I believe, Seth Fowdy right now, with Joshua Gill in third, Bobby Mantle 4th, and Caleb Smith is 5th is our top 5. So keep an eye on those guys tonight. It's going to be a big deal to be the first, you know, inaugural ARCA champion. And before we get going, Joe, if you don't mind just being able to share your share the stream here in the Discord so I can watch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're coming out of the turn 10 here. That's the famous turn 10 here to get set for our Platinum Service VA green flag here tonight. And folks, like we were just talking, it's going to be a good one. Get him set up real quick here. That should get you going. There you go.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Green flag's about to fly. We're going to race, and like those guys have said, getting through turn 1 is going to be the place, man, that and I think that's every race, man, when it comes to road racing. Make sure you make it through turn 1, as right now Bobby Mantle, Rob Sherwood, and look at Mantle take the lead right off. Everybody looks pretty clean through turn 1.
Yeah, Bobby Mantle really drove it in on the outside there. He really wanted the lead, and he's clean and through, and Bobby Mantle's going to lead him all the way back to the bus stop.
Yeah, he is. Bus stop up the top, going through the little twisties. As like you said, Mantle out front. Now, no cautions in this race, folks, so track position is going to be crucial. And we talk about, like, Caleb right here, he's already up to third, and looks like, Bobby Murphy might be off the track in the back here. Bradley Murphy, excuse me. Yep.
Yeah, there he is, right in the bus stop. So
let's see what happens.
And this won't be the first time we'll see this tonight, Joe. No. I can promise you that. So, or I'm sorry, it won't be the last time, rather.
Well, with no cautions here, you know, obviously we'll keep up with what's going on. Good thing I got this telemetry back here to help me as we're watching the 18 here. Going up up the hill. A little short shoot here, then going to the bus stop.
Oh, yeah, it looks like maybe just late braking and missed his mark there a little bit, but he did a good job not collecting anybody, I'll say that.
Yeah, luckily he didn't take anybody, like you just said. Meanwhile, look at Bobby Mantle out front. As,
Bobby Mantle led the first lap here, doing a good job.
Here comes Caleb. We just can't not talk about Caleb. I mean, he is itching at this race to get up there, but he's got some competition there with Rob Sherwood. And it looks like we've got a few of the cars in the back having some trouble here. Steve.
Rob Sherwood. Oh, Rob Sherwood just hit the barrier in P2. He got real loose. Got real loose coming out of the bus stop there, and he did a good job saving it.
We'll watch it right here.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Joe.
You're fine. That's what it is. There's no cautions. There's so many things going on. We'll catch back to those other 2 incidents here in a minute. We'll see, because this is the second place guy you were talking about. Now he's back in sixth.
So much action, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Normally it slows it down with a caution, but with his, that's the rumble strips you were talking about earlier. Just upset that car. Huge. Oh, that might knock the toe out of that thing.
Yeah, he's on pit road right now. That's really unfortunate for Rob Sherwood. He was definitely one of the favorites tonight, but to your point, Joe, that it just happened so quickly, right? And just getting on those rumble strips the wrong way, and now it's Bobby Mantle's driving away, and then you got Caleb Smith, who's the one to watch up to P2 now.
Yeah, you got Daniel Miller right here sitting in the third place spot with Mike Kelly. Now let's go back here a little bit, couple laps earlier on. Shane Hughes, unfortunately, Shane Hughes, unfortunately, getting in trouble here. And also got Zachary Fowdy. We'll watch him. We'll see what happens. Oh, yeah, just came out of the turn.
Oh, yeah.
That thing just went sideways on him and hard on the wall.
Oh, hard hurt. Yeah, and that's, an example of where, in the real world, that definitely would have brought out a caution.
Oh,
but, this is pretty much no cautions unless there's just a multi-car incident that's...
See what Fowdy's got here. Look, Fowdy actually hit the wall, too. Correct. A little over braking, maybe some brake bias issue there. Man.
Yep. This is very quickly. I mean, I know we're only 4 laps in, Joe, but it's really turning into kind of a survival race early on.
And the guys talked about it. You talked about it. We heard some guys talk about it there at the beginning of the race. Even Caleb and Bobby both talked about how unpredictable this car is. And I did like what Caleb brought up, because I think I was talking about that with you, man, and I brought up with the GT3 cars.
Yep,
he referenced that. He referenced the difference. Obviously, they have a little more tech in those cars than what these are. We have an ABS and traction and all, because they go off more of the real lifestyle car. But with that said, that new tire model, he said how planted those cars are and how more aggressive you can be, as opposed to this is like a stock car. It's still rough and tough to drive.
It really is. I mean, we talked about, at the opening, just being able to manhandle the cars, but it's a fine line, right? Even Bobby Mantle said it, you want to get right up to that line without going over, and, just something as simple like what happened to Rob Sherwood, got on that rumble strip a little bit wrong, and it launched the car, and now he's really far behind the 8 ball.
And look at this, man. Caleb is trying to roll up here on the back end of Bobby Mantle. As right now we're in a pretty good run. Got Mike Kelly hanging on back here. Now, Mike Kelly's one of these guys, his second season here. I've known Mike, though, for a long time in some other leagues. And when I saw him come over, instantly, the light bulb, I said, man, the guy's fast. I've seen what he can do in a cup car, seen what he can do in a truck. So it's been interesting to see what he's done in the truck series. Now he's a chartered driver. Over here in the ARCA Series, I don't think he's running it full time, but he has run a couple of the races here. Up there, man, 2 spots up in 4th place, not doing too bad. Really don't know his take on how he feels about road racing in particular, but when it comes to ovals, I know he's quick.
Yeah, Mike Kelly has just been a really solid addition to the league in general, Joe. And if you ask me, he's one of the potential favorites to make the Final 4 in the Truck Series. He's already got a win under his belt. He was on vacation, I know, last week, and missed a race, but that's the think about winning, right? He's locked in, so didn't have to worry about too much there, and he's still going to be able to make a good playoff run, and keep an eye on Mike Kelly as the Truck Series, advances.
Absolutely, and like you said, that's Mike Kelly. Logan Bricky right there behind him. Here with that name there a little bit. Is he? He's probably been out here a couple times, but newer driver, isn't he?
Logan, yep. Logan's a good friend of mine. He's kind of part of the S&B Motorsport stable there. He actually used to spot me in another league, and I actually spotted him some as well. So we've kind of both got that driver-spotter relationship, and he's coming over from another league, and his goal is to run in the Truck Series full-time next year.
Oh, nice.
And so he's making his required ARCA start so that he can work his way up to the Truck Series. So
there you go.
Good to have Logan here.
Real quick, it said Bobby Mantle went off the track. That doesn't mean he probably wrecked or anything. Could have just got tires off of it and just registered it. Let's see. Go back and see here. Oh, right there's probably what it was. He got in the grass a little bit in the bus stop.
Good catch right there.
It did, send him out of his way. Good job by Caleb. This is the carousel turn, and that is a passing zone here at Watkins Glen, coming up on 2 other passing zones here, as you'll see. So Caleb could dive it in there as turn 9. I'm going to say it's 9. I know the last one's 10. I don't think there's a name to them, but yeah, definitely passing. And right now, Caleb, and could be a little bit of a mirror driving there by Mantle's part, too.
Yeah, Caleb's really starting to turn up the wick here. And, Caleb's a really smart driver when it comes to the road courses. He's not going to do anything too crazy. I know he wants the lead here, but he's going to wait to make sure he gets a good run and completes a good clean pass here. But I know if I'm Bobby, I'm wanting to keep Caleb in my mirror as long as possible, because if he gets by you, you might not see him again.
Absolutely. Good shot here on board here just to show you what these guys are. And very smooth right now. You can see that, not working that wheel a lot, able to go through there. I mean, that's just to kind of show you what these guys, the cream rises to the top, the old saying, but you just see it. He looks pretty comfortable right now in that car. Kind of a little bit different than what he was talking.
Yep.
Yeah, a little different than what he was talking in the beginning of the race, that how these things were kind of loose, but he's looking pretty stable right there.
Yeah, so far so good. He's just being real smooth with it, and like I said, I don't personally know the characteristics of the car too much here on the road courses, but just making sure not to overstep. And but Bobby Mantle's doing a really good job staying out front right now as well.
Absolutely. This Abram Ghost got off track back here. Let's see what happened to Ghost Man back here. Obviously, we appreciate him coming on board for the Truck Series, and I will say he's one of the co-sponsors here in the ARCA Series there with Ghost Athletics. Got to talk to him several weeks ago, and appreciate it, man. There, I did not know he was a retired officer, so I appreciate that service there he's done to everyone. But okay, right there, you got that rumble strip.
Yep.
It seems like it's the norm tonight.
Oh, just barely got some right front end. And I'll say, just kind of as an aside, Joe, I got to do a practice race with Ghost before Las Vegas, and just got to spend a little additional just one-on-one time with him, and actually ran a separate session with him, and kind of even though we're not on the same team, we kind of prepared together for that Vegas race. And you've already said it, Joe, but just not you're not going to find a better guy than Ghost Man. He's just a really solid guy, and just really enjoyed getting to know him, and thankful for his sponsorship, in both the trucks and the ARCA, and always love having Ghost run out here. So hopefully he didn't bang that number 22 up too bad, and he can keep her going here.
Looks okay from what we can see, but you never know, man, how it's going to feel inside the car. That's another thing. It's almost like that hit with Rob Sherwood. That one looked like it probably knocked that toe out. It's something that we won't see, obviously, here on the broadcast, but they definitely could feel it inside the car. Right now, though, still Bobby Mantle out front. Daniel Miller still moved up there in third. Caleb Swift second. Mike Kelly up in the fourth. Logan Brinkley in fifth. Another guy, man, we got to look at because he's up 7 spots. Austin Coop, newcomer. Last week, first race, and man, he just came out and obliterated the field.
Yeah, he really did. He took us to the woodshed, and just had his way, because he led a ton of laps in that race. I know I was actually in that race last week, and Mike Kelly gave him a run for his money there at the end. And I know there was some hard racing between the two, but they so to say, got out and shook hands after and just told each other good run, and that's what we're all about, right? Hard clean racing.
Oh, yeah.
So it was fun to see last week for sure.
And already up 8 spots, so he is really the hard charger right now, pushing up in the 9th place spot. So we talk about coming through the field here. My old word, gangbusters. There, you're probably not going to see that here tonight, but yes, you will. You can come through the field. I mean, if you're able to save tires, if you're able to hit your marks, that's another thing. Road racing. Racing is a gentleman's sport. That's what they call it, because most of the time it is GT3, LMPs, Formula One, F1 Grand Prix, stuff like that. And it's considered a gentleman's sport, so to speak. You don't see a lot of beating and banging and going out there. Maybe just a little bit, but they don't go out there and slam like they do on an oval track. So coming over here on here, it's more technical to talk about when you come to road races. You've got to hit your mark. You're up shifting, down shifting, turning left, right, up and down. So it's a different discipline of racing, and some are good, some are not. I'll be honest with you there, Altus, which I probably wouldn't be good in GT3 now because it's been so long, but getting in one of these cars, I'd probably done hit the wall by now.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. We got a battle up front as well, Jed. Caleb's really working on Bobby here. I thought he was going to get to the inside of him, but yeah, to your point, I mean, it really is just a different discipline, and some guys just really take to it. We always talk about Caleb being one of those guys that just, whenever a road course comes up, you got to mention his name because he's going to be there. And there's other guys that struggle with it. I'm definitely one of the guys that is not great at road course racing. I'm not terrible, but I'm not great. I'd say I'm very middle of the road, and I've worked hard at trying to get better, but it's just, man, you got to have a lot of patience and discipline for sure.
Ooh.
So
this is a good shot here because you're just seeing a battle for the lead and a battle for back there for 3rd and 4th, because you just saw Daniel Miller right there
OSR helicopter cam, Joe.
yeah. And it just it showed a good shot of Caleb. He thought about going inside there in turn 1, but then coming out of turn 1, going up the hill, Daniel Miller slipped, and it allowed Mike Kelly to take that position right there as they go through the bus stop. So, right here, it's just good shot, man, to show you what's going on, and to show you the track too. This track is huge. They don't use the bus stop. Bus stop. They don't use the boot. They call it the boot. They don't use that here. That's more for road racing. But wait a minute, we got Justin Curtis says he crashed. So let's go back and see what happened to him. Justin Curtis back here. He's all alone. Maybe a brake bias issue. That kind of looks like it.
Just locked it up a little bit too much, looped it around, but didn't hit
talk
anything.
Much about brake bias, a lot here, but it's really an important part when it comes to road racing. I know that was one of the things because we used to set up, and I used to know what the differences was. I'd have to go back and research it again. One of them is oversteer, one of them is understeer, which one makes you tight, one makes you loose. That one looks like a little bit too much of it.
Yeah, if you want to, generally, if you take brake bias out, you're putting brakes more toward like the rear of the car, and it can kind of loosen up the car a little bit. And then if you want a little more stability, you can apply the brake bias, and it'll add more front brake. So it's just really kind of dependent. You can kind of get like a little bit of a tighter, more stable feel on entry, the more front brake you have, but it'll make that rear end kind of wiggle around a little bit. So you gotta kind of find a good happy medium, or different guys have different driving styles, obviously. So man, this is a great battle up front, though, isn't it, Joe?
It is, man. Right now you got Caleb Smith. He's chewing up the back end of Bobby Mantle right here, as you see it. This is just a classic road course style racing. No, they're not going to get up there and knock each other around, but they're going to try to psych each other out. Which area am I going to try to pass you at? Where am I going to try to make you make a mistake? And that's what Caleb right now is trying to do. He's going on the inside, the outside a little bit to try to make Bobby not hit those points going into the turns. They go up the hill through the twisties, They'll go down to the little short chute down to the bus stop, which the bus stop is a passing zone if he can get close enough. And that's what I've noticed. Every passing zone, it seems like he's just not quite close enough to make that inside move.
Yeah, it looks like Caleb's a little bit better, on entry to some of these corners, but Bobby is doing a really good job of getting that run off and kind of keeping that little gap, so to say, Joe, so that Caleb can't attack him quite too much in the corners.
Right.
Now, here's the thing that's going to come up here, Joe. We're getting real close to halfway here. So you said it at the top of the show, Joe. The pit stops might make the difference.
It does, yeah.
Does Caleb try to maybe, do the undercut and try to pit before Bobby and see if maybe he can get out in front of him?
There you go.
And here, just as I say that, here he comes.
And I think this might be a smart move. It's always a gamble, though, on a road race because you don't have that caution to rely on, which, hey, it's the Clean Racing League. You don't got cautions to rely on anyways. I mean, I've said it a million times, Joshua, and I know you've heard me say it, and I've talked to you. To planning for one of these races in this league, and I'll just go out on a limb and say it, you do not plan for cautions, okay, when you plan your pit strategies. I know certain tracks are certain tracks, but I still, on a short track, would still plan on it just may be one or none, because it's just, y'all do such a fantastic job, and I'm gonna pat y'all on the back a little bit for it because hey, it's in the name. I say it week in and week out. It's Clean Racing.
I'll say
League.
Chris Smith has done a really great job, obviously, with the truck series, and it's bled over to the ARCA, and it's just the expectations that he sets on all of us to really just do a good job. And mistakes are going to happen, Joe. I mean, that's part of racing, right? But I think just having that respect level, which our series commends and demands really, and we don't stand for stupid driving, right? So. And like I said, yeah, that's right. Bobby Mantles pulls it down pit road, but that really, to your point, Joe, you got to kind of plan your strategy around as if there isn't going to be a caution, and then just be ready to adjust, if one does come out. So. Yeah,
and I know I talk about your strategies a lot, and I've seen them. And, even like I believe it was this past Monday, I was talking about, I said, just don't count out. I said, even though he didn't qualify well, do not count out Joshua Altus. He'll be there at the front, and lo and behold, you were at the front, So
spun myself on pit road and kind of got bailed out with a caution later, but it happens. So.
Yeah, I caught that one there too. I was like, but you were on a pit strategy, and that's since we're talking about pit strategies now, you were on a wild different pit strategy that actually, for the pace of that race, would have worked, I believe. But we got to put that but in. Because it's unusual to see a mistake, and I've said a million times, the middle mistakes, and usually they happen on pit road, is the spin kind of just probably threw that strategy out the window. And like you said, the caution, though, helped, and later on in the race was able to get back into contention. But, yeah, I mean, at the time, if there wouldn't have been, if that thing would have went green, that's just mistakes happen. It happens in real life.
Well, there's just, it goes back to how competitive both these series are, the trucks and the ARCA, and there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, right? And there's a lot of ways to win a race, and when you got really, really good competitive guys, sometimes you got to think outside the box a little bit and think about the strategy side. And if we want to cycle back to the lead here, Bobby Mantle managed to stay in front of Caleb here, coming off pit road there. So that's pretty big, Joe.
About a second, too, difference between them. So.
Yeah, he actually gapped him just a little bit. So, Bobby did a really good job getting on and off pit road. And now, it might not seem like a lot, Joe, but he does have one lap fresher tires than Caleb as well. So Caleb's got his work cut out for him if he's going to try to get by Bobby Mantle.
Bring that one more thing into that, because a lot of people, they talk about, pit stop times. And it's interesting that he was able to do that. But that little bit of distance he had on the lead is what he needed here, because I'm going to bring up some times here. His pit stop was a 14.92 to Caleb's 14.27. So Caleb had a huge pit stop advantage. But here's the other number that they don't talk about a lot in real life. And I don't know why, because this right here can be the key, and this is the key right here, is the total time, the time that it takes them to get on pit road, the pit stop, and get off of pit road. Bobby had a 46.25 to Caleb's 46.15. That means Bobby Mantle made up a huge amount of time somewhere on and off pit road. And then the gap that he had between the lead going in or before they pitted is what made up the difference of that 10th right there. And I think is what's kept him out, because if you look at the numbers, you think, well, how in the world did he do it? It just, everything fell into place for him.
That's
He's
right.
doing that, though, and he won't be in the lead.
Well, we talk about, racing is a, game of inches like a lot of other sports, right? And there's no better example of that. And it's a game of tenths of seconds, right? Because these guys are so close, and like every little tenth of a second matters, whether it's getting on pit road, the pit stop itself, and getting off pit road. All of it adds up, and your out lap and everything. So it's just very small margins, and the guys that can master that, it could be the difference in a race win or not. And as we see, Logan Brakey is staying out long here, Joe. He just wants to get some TV time. He told me he wanted me to talk nice things about him tonight, so I'm trying my best. Brakey,
he hasn't read, so there we go.
He hasn't read. He's doing okay for a Canadian. He'll challenge Jordan Trask, which is our other, loved Canadian NCRL. So
Bobby Mantle,
Brakey's another Canadian. Moved. He's actually living in Florida right now, so he's over here in the States on the East Coast now. And
nice.
He is a good dude, though. I really, really like Brakey a lot. He's become a good friend, and he's a great little driver too. So I think he's going to be a really solid addition to this league.
Another guy that hasn't pitted right here behind him, old Jacob Grant, is unfortunately he's 11 seconds
we
back.
haven't talked about Jacob a lot tonight, have we?
Has not pitted, and another one that said, now it said Austin Coop did pit, but it doesn't tell me what lap where he pitted, and it said he had a 50-second pit, so I'm not quite sure.
He may have started from pit road, actually,
yeah,
Joe.
That's
so
what
I
I'm
don't think
thinking.
he has made his stop yet.
Yeah, I don't think he has. So the top three, you have to make a stop. What do you feel about this strategy? Because obviously they don't have a caution to bank on. They're only 20 seconds ahead of Bobby, and they're going to lose the lead here. But
Caleb's making a move here, Joe. He finally is. He went down into turn one, and I think he might have him here. So this should be the battle for the lead once everything cycles, Joe, because those top three still have to pit. But yeah, I think these two, are on the right strategy of pitting and making use of their tires. And these guys that still need to pit, they'll be really fast for the last 10 laps.
Battle for second, third right here.
Yeah,
that's Coop and Grant. Coop's all over the back door of Grant, trying to see if he can't get around him and take that spot away. I'm just kind of curious on what the pit strategy and what the mentality is going to be going through here. I mean, is the tires going to advantage them that much going to the end of the race? Because at some point, you've got to look how much time I'm going to have to make up. But right now, Austin Coop, he's on that back door. Jacob Grant giving him all he can handle.
Well, and I'll say this just from experience, from what little road course knowledge I can give, Joe, is at least my mentality would be, if I'm in clean air or able to run really clean laps, I would stay out as long as I can. But if you're in Austin Coop's position here where, it looks like Jacob's kind of holding him up just a little bit, sometimes it is better to go ahead and pit, and then you just want to try to find as much clean track as you can so you can run as many quick laps as you can. So
I talk about in the past when it comes to road racing too. Whoa, he got hot into it that time, Austin Coop, and he's going to have to cut through the bus stop here.
Yeah, he'll have a penalty here. So did a really good job not collecting Jacob there. That would have been bad. So
yeah, got heavy on the binders. Luckily, man, just didn't get in the back end of Grant. He was able to hang on to it, and so yeah, those two. Now a couple laps before had a little issue here. Zachary Foudy. What happened to him in another 10 earlier on? He spun earlier in the race, and that looks like another brake bios thing. I mean, just that brakes heavy in the turn.
Sneaking by there, several laps down after his incident early. But yeah, Zachary Foudy, he's doing all he can. I'll say he hasn't hit anything.
No.
So at least he's still in the race. So get her going and keep on logging laps here.
Before that little hiccup right there between Coop, I was going to say, we talk about distance on the track. When it comes to oval racing, a guy has a second lead. Well, that's a big lead in oval racing. Anything, man, beyond that is really big lead. In road racing, that is small. I'm going to even go as far as to say even Austin Coop here with a 6-second lead to Caleb. You can see Caleb and him sneaking in the back picture back there. That's not a very that's a comfortable lead. You can make one little slip in a turn, but yet you do that, and they're going to knock off probably half of that time. So time is something here, distance on a road track. You have to have a lot of it to really be comfortable. You see Caleb Smith right now, he's kind of moving away, and you talked about that one fresher, newer tires that Mantle has. I mean, is he going to be able to utilize those? As looks like Austin Coop made it around Jacob Grant while we were talking.
Here comes Jacob peeling off to pit road now. So Jacob will make his stop, and then he'll push hard this last little bit. But yeah, I don't know, Joe. I thought once Caleb got around Bobby, he would just completely set sail, but Bobby's been able to kind of keep him, right in front of him, and
Strategy,
sometimes
maybe?
it is. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, sometimes it's a little easier. It's like dangling the carrot, Joe. He's got something to chase now versus setting the pace. So I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to. Yeah, so maybe if he can stay with him, maybe he can cool his tires off and make one last run at him.
Yeah, you talked about like he's got that one right there at the bus stop. He looked like he was going to make the move, and Caleb instantly, man, tried to do a block, and they both came over the rumble strips. And that was a perfect picture to show you how upset these cars can get. Both of those drivers, man, struggling through that bus stop. That was not a clean bus stop by no means.
Yep, that's right. Logan Brakey's finally going to bring it to pit road here. So
He is.
Logan, you had your moment of fame, so there's my shout out to you, like I told you I would do.
19
so,
off
got
on
a
the
car
track.
off here. Yeah.
Bradley Murphy.
Oh, Bobby.
And Bobby's
He's gonna try
looking
it, Joe.
out of turn
He's
10.
looking.
Oh, he
Caleb got
slid
loose.
that
Bobby did
thing.
Too. Whoa.
Oh, you kidding me? Wow.
Man, these guys are getting after it, Joe. We don't have much time left. Gosh,
Seven
what
to
are we
go.
7 to go, yeah.
And this, I think right now, it's like tune up the music with Jaws here a little bit. I mean, he's trying to set up Caleb, and you know what? Did Austin make a pit stop, and I just missed it?
No,
Because he's went a long way. Ooh, he just went right off the bus stop that time.
Yeah, before
But-
Brakey pulled off, I was gonna just maybe bring up, Joe, like I don't know what the fuel window is, so
Yeah, can he make it? That'd be my next
I don't
question.
know. That'd be a page out of my book for sure if he's close on fuel. So
I mean, if he can make it, Caleb Smith and them are going to have a hard time trying to run him down because, I mean, even the lap times, the last lap, Austin Coop actually was quicker than the. Well, there he comes on pit road. Okay.
yeah.
I threw that out the
That
window.
debunked that, Joe, but
Yes,
it was a
it
good
did.
story for what it was worth, right?
Yeah, it was, Neil, but his last lap time was very, very quick. I mean, Caleb running 112s out there, but them two battling each other. And I think right now Caleb is, he's hoping he doesn't catch lap traffic at the wrong time because I can set him up huge here for Bobby Mantle to make that pass.
Yeah, lap traffic is really, could really pay a factor in the finish of this race here because Caleb doesn't have that clean track that he really wants right now. So we'll see if the lap cars lay over. Looks like Zachary Foudy's maybe laying
Mantle
over
went
what these
high.
guys are. Oh!
That's not going to work. Well, it hurt Mantle that time. I saw what Bobby was trying to do, and Caleb overshot the bus stop. He's going to get
Bobby's
the preferred
gonna
line
have
going
the
into
inside
the.
here.
Yep. Nope.
Oh,
he
he's
lost
loose.
it.
Oh, he had it.
Oh, he had that. That was. I saw what he was going to do. He had the inside there, Joshua, and it would have definitely had the preferred line going to the carousel, but the rumble strips got him loose. Man.
Yeah, he just had a hard time getting back in the throttle. I thought he was going to be in the right spot there, but man, this is shaping up to be one of those classic. What was it, Marcus Ambrose and
Yeah.
who was that? Brad Keselowski, I think.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Let's get one of those finishes, huh?
Absolutely, man. Mantle right now, he does have a lap newer tires. He is definitely looking a lot better in the turns than Smith is right now. He's able to pull up, and I think that's the advantage of those tires. He keeps sliding around, though, and that advantage is going to go away. Mantle right now up to the hill. He'll head down the short chute here again. Smith out front. We'll get to that bus stop, and that'll be a passing zone. If Mantle could get right there close enough, he's not quite close enough yet for that pass, so he's going to think about maybe the carousel this next time.
He's looking. He's right on his bumper.
Yes,
We got another lap car to work around here. That's
just lost
Judson
it again.
Curtis. Yep. He's just having a really hard time with that last little rumble strip.
Yes, he is. If he can figure out how to get through that bus stop clean, I think he's got him set up perfect going into the carousel turn. Now they head off into turn 9 and 10 right now, and these are definitely passing zones if he can get up underneath him. Caleb doing an outstanding job, man, putting him off. It looks like Wayne Chapman in trouble in the back. We'll go back here and see what happened to Wayne real quick. Fortunately, had to start from the back tonight with a knee whale penalty. And again, just kind of all night long in the 93.
Oof. Got a little piece of it, but yeah. Old Wayne's had a tough go of it lately. Hopefully he can get it going again here. But we are 4 laps to go, Joe, and this battle is not letting up.
It is not, and at this point, I don't know that Caleb has the better car. He has the better position right now because he can control what's going on out front, and Bobby's going to have to make that pass, and we've seen him do it. The problem is, can he get through this bus stop here? And he looked a little cleaner that time, but man, you see Caleb, he just set sail through that bus stop.
That last little right turn right out of the bus stop, Caleb's just able to really get the car cut down, and Bobby looks like he's struggling a little bit. Really wide exit there for Bobby, trying to keep up the momentum, and looks like they're coming up on the Bersicki here, who's going to yield to the leaders.
Looking around here with 3 to go. Got to give a shout out to also to one of the sponsors tonight. Got the Smoky Roaches 102. It's a friend there, Jacob, and he told me who it was, and I forgot. I apologize to him, but I do know it's a good friend of Jacob Grant out there. So I want to appreciate him. Smoky Roaches, the 102 here tonight at Watkins Glen for the Clean Racing League ARCA Series here tonight, presented by Grant's Design. And this battle here out front, Caleb Smith, he came in 1 lap before Bobby Mantle. Mantle has looked like he's trying everything he can do. It's just a matter of when those tires might just give up on him, and he's hoping that they don't, and they keep going to the end of this race. But right now, Caleb, I mean, we know he knows how to get around this track, and he is looking very smooth. And it looks like his point of this track here, Joshua, is that bus stop.
Absolutely, yeah. That exit of the bus stop is just he's nailing it. Oh, Bobby got really loose out of there.
That could be it right there.
Yeah, that might be it. I think Caleb's probably going to have to make some kind of mistake at this point. But kind of, going back to the point scenario, Joe, Caleb is 5th in points. He hasn't won a race this season. I know he spent a lot of time up in the booth with you, calling the truck series. He decided to come out, back out of the booth, wanted to get back involved. He saw how much, fun the series was and how much it's grown. I know he hasn't had the truck series season that he's wanted. He's not quite in the playoffs for the trucks. He's got one more shot at Talladega this upcoming week, but I know he was super excited to get in this ARCA series, and he's a title contender, Joe. He's sitting 5th in points right now. He's only 11 points back from the championship leader of Jacob Grant.
Okay. Oh, really? Well, right there, Grant's in 8 spots, so yeah.
That's right, and if Caleb, hangs on and is able to win this race, he's going to thrust himself right into contention for this title with 2 races to go.
Awesome, man. That is good news right there. I know he, like I said, checked this one off and looking good. Grant right there made that late pit stop, and now back in the 8th place. Scott Simley been kind of quiet all race long here. Steven Rubino, I know old Barber and them out there is probably watching on. I know Steven, I think his brother out there. Hey. The dogs got excited. They're getting excited for the finish because we got the white flag.
White flag is in the air. Caleb Smith has got about a 2nd lead on Bobby Mantle right now. And if I'm Caleb, just hit my marks. Don't do anything crazy. And if I'm Bobby Mantle, I'm driving that thing for all it's worth.
Yeah, he's going to come up here, shooting it around up the top of the hill for the final time here tonight at Watkins Glen. He'll go down the short chute and into the bus stop where he has actually had that huge advantage for most of his run. Mantle's going to try one more time. He closed in. But does he
closed
have it up
on
just getting off the bus stop, man, Joshua? He's just not able to do it through the carousel. Man, this is going to come to here, and I think Mantl's going to try maybe one last time in turn number 10.
Yeah, I will say he's done a really good job. He's made up a lot of time on this lap, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
Going to come out of it right here. Final 2 turns. Does Bobby Mantle have enough maybe to shoot it in there? He does. Sends it. Just not quite close enough. And he's going to spin.
Hang on to it. Hang on to it, Bobby.
Caleb Smith's going to pull it off. Bobby Mantle tried. Mike
Great
Kelly,
race.
though. Look at this. Coming home in third.
Great run by Mike Kelly. He was sneaky all night, but man,
Yes, he was.
congratulations to Caleb Smith, Bobby Mantle. What a show those two put on for us tonight, Joe.
Woo! You know, normally it look, that's about as exciting as you can get with road racing. That was good. Those guys put on a good solid race, because a lot of times it's out there usually follow the leader and whatnot. But these two guys racing hard, getting out there. But Caleb Smith finally breaking the bubble here and getting a win. I know, to get that monkey off his back, that's got to feel good.
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about it, Joe. You know, coming out of the booth and coming back into a competitive ride, and not only the win, but like we said, Joe, he's right in the thick of the title contention. So you know, maybe this will give him that little boost, and
They were
got
teammates
2 weeks
too, by the
left
way.
to try to win himself a title.
They were teammates, by the way, also. But I was talking in the team booth, so that'd be interesting. But
Oh yeah.
big old Mike up here. You want to get a word with him?
Yeah. Bring him on up.
All right.
Hey, Mike, it's Josh and Joe in the booth. You got it?
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Hey, man. Well, I wasn't quite sure, you know, your road course prowess coming into tonight. You know, we know you're a really great driver and always competitive, you know, on the short tracks and the 1.5 miles and whatnot. But, you know, how was the car feeling tonight? And a really strong finish for you.
Yeah, I've done a little road racing in my day here and there. I own all the road racing content, and I was a road racing pro and did a few WDC races back in the day there. So I don't do it as much as I'd like to anymore, but I'd like to jump in and try to run up front with these guys like Caleb and Bobby that seem to have a rocket ship. But the car was great, to answer your question. Probably the most fun I've had driving a car at Watkins Glen that weighed over 2,000 pounds. It was a lot of fun. I ran a good, steady race and didn't have any issues. Kept it on the track, got a 0x, but didn't have nothing for those guys. They probably run in about 2 or 3 tenths a second a lap. I don't know where I could have found that, but I had a good time.
Yeah, well, you did a great job tonight, man. You were sliding that thing around. You know, how was the car handling? That was kind of a big topic coming into tonight. You know, I know these are heavy cars and they're really planted in a lot of these other tracks, but you know, how was it, like the handling characteristics throughout the night?
I thought it was great. It felt a lot like a truck, but it didn't have that just insane out of the track, you know, rear axle wag the tail feel. So it was there if you overdrove it, but if you kept your feet under you and didn't overdrive it, it turned pretty well into the corner. I would say it was maybe a little loose in. I wasn't running a lot of rear brake, but like I said, for a stock car, it was probably one of the kudos to iRacing, because I've always wondered why they're so hard to drive on here, but maybe they are in real life. How would I know? But it was fun to just be able to go out there and kind of drive it kind of like a road race car and just kind of throw it around, and it turned when you wanted to and had pretty good braking, so it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, you know, Joe and I talked a little bit about you during the broadcast, and we know you're full-time over on the Truck Series. I see you every Monday night, and it's been a lot of fun racing you full-time over there. You know, how's it been? You know, what's been your experience for the ARCA Series so far? I know you're not full-time. You come part-time and race when you can, you know, but what's kind of been your thoughts of the league and just the overall experience so far?
I really enjoyed it. You know, it's just like the Truck Series, got a lot of clean racing, and it's really cool that CRL has, I mean, I don't think you can really call it an entry series, but it's an entry port for, you know, racers to come in and get some experience. and there's a lot of solid competition here, obviously, and it's good hard racing. This car's, I mean, it's just been a lot of fun. It's kind of like getting 20 go-karts out on a track that are all equal and just having at it. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. Kind of a driver's car a little bit. Everybody can run good in it, and you really got to work hard to pass anybody. So I enjoy that. And I was running in another league on Wednesdays that I got out of, so you can probably look for me to be running full-time in the next season.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear, man. Always fun to have you out here, Mike. Congratulations on a really strong effort tonight. And before we go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Hey, thanks, man. A shout-out to you guys in the broadcast booth. Hope Joe's having a good night. It was a lot of fun, or it's always a lot of fun to go back and watch, and road courses can be kind of boring to watch on a broadcast, but I still like to go back and watch them and see what you guys have to say and what kind of coverage we get. Shout out to all the sponsors, Grant Designs. I'm not sure who all sponsors this one, but all the sponsors at CRL Podcast, of course. You guys doing that's a lot of fun. Shout out to the Turn 1 Hero guys. They had a pretty good night tonight. You know, we got Seth, Daniel, Scott. I'm not sure if Brad's running it. Is Brad there? No, but shout out to Brad anyway, and Austin, who had a disconnect or something happened with him at the beginning. So we had some good runs, though, tonight, and shout out to those guys. And as always, shout out to the Smoking Hot Wife and my little dog, Izzy.
Awesome. Well, great job again tonight, Mike. Congrats on your P3 finish, and we'll see you Monday at Talladega.
All right, man. Look forward to it. Always fun racing with you out on the track, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
There you go, Mike Kelly. Like you said, man, coming out here, putting it in the third place spot. But now, Joshua, I'm gonna bring up Caleb. I'm gonna let you talk to him because I know
Sure.
the guy's got to be ecstatic. You know, he got the monkey off his back. He was close at Daytona by mere inches, and Chris got that one from him. But to now be in contention here to maybe win a championship, but to win this race, let's bring him up here and let you get a word with him.
Let's do it. Caleb, our winner tonight, up in the booth. It's Josh and Joe. You got a copy?
How you doing?
We're good, buddy. How are you doing?
You know, I can actually say it now. My father and I, you know, Papa Smith, Chris Smith, and myself have won in the same season of the CRL ARCA Series. So I'm super happy about that because the first season he's there and I'm there, so I'm super happy about that. This race, I mean, I'm sweating.
Yeah, I mean, walk us through your night, man. I mean, what a battle and what a show that you and Bobby put on. Just, you know, walk us through your night, and you know, I know Bobby led, you know, the majority of the first half of that race, and it looked like you tried to do the undercut to get in front of him, but then he still came out in front of you, and you know, not to doubt your abilities at all, but you know, I was telling Joe, I said, well, with Bobby, you know, with one lap fresher tires and he managed to keep the lead, I thought you had a tall task in front of you, but you managed to get by him. You know, just walk us through kind of your thought process.
Yeah, so the first 14 going on 15 laps, you know, me and Bobby, you know, we're teammates, so the plan was just kind of break away from the pack, and you know, if a move presents itself, then I'll take it. And then, you know, once we had like a 4, you know, second lead or something like that, we had a gap to kind of play with. I started, you know, doing my little dummy moves, and he's smarter than that, so he knew what I was doing. But I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and pit and not tell him and see how this works out. I was a little bit slow getting on pit road, and that kind of was what gave him the jump, because I mean, we took the same fuel, tires, everything, so he just had the better aggression on pit road. And then once he came out, it was just chasing down, because I mean, you're not gonna have a caution to save you. So I was just kind of locked in, focused. We had some trouble with some lap cars. That was we weren't happy about it, but at the same time, they're allowed to race. So it is what it is. But that presented a pretty sketchy moment in the bus stop. I'm not sure if you guys seen it.
Oh, we saw it.
Yeah, it was definitely something. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's Bobby made me work for that one. I hate Rob had his issue early on because I feel like it would have been a 3-car fight. But yeah, no, Bobby made me work for that one. I was telling him I've never been on edge for an entire road course race until tonight, and that was definitely something. So I tried to
Well,
SPG drift around the carousel and wrecked it. So, but yeah, it was fun.
well, I've got so many questions I could ask you. I'm going to try to keep it short just so we don't go on too long. But you know, a couple things I do want to talk to you about. You know, obviously you stepped away from racing for a little while. You came up in the booth and did a great job with Joe for a couple of seasons, calling the Truck Series and then kind of getting the itch to get back into it. Like, I mean, I know it hasn't been the best season in the world on the truck side. You've still done a great job for getting back in, and you know you got one more shot to get in the playoffs on Monday. But you know, being a part of this ARCA series, and I mean, what's it mean to you just to get back in victory lane, and even furthermore, like this throws you right into the championship contention for possibly a championship. Like, what's that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely why I came back to racing. I told Joe I wanted to win a championship, and because I mean I've won races, you know I've done this and that, but I've never won a championship. So I want to win one. It doesn't matter what series. If it's ARCA, I'm happy with it. If you know it's trucks, then I got lucky. But this season in the trucks, I just haven't had it, and when I do have it, something happens. Case in point, Monday night with the cautions. We won't go further into that, but yeah, Wednesdays I feel like it's clicked for me with this ARCA car, and I'm right where I want to be, and this win really puts me in the fighting range of the championship. Because this points based, it's not winning you're in. So I feel like tonight was a good points night, and we'll carry it on to next week, whatever that is.
Well, I got one more question for you, and then we'll give you the floor to shout out all your sponsors and partners. But you know, I want to go back to something you mentioned right when you first came on. You talked about, you know, your dad getting that win at Daytona, and that was a really cool moment and race for you guys. 1-2 finish, photo finish. But how cool is it, man? I mean, you've been racing with your dad for several years now, and to have you guys both get a win in the same season, and just, you know, how much this league has grown, and you know, I know how much effort and goes into it, and Chris has done such a great job with this, and I know you're a big part of it with Jacob and everyone else. But you know, how special is that for you guys just as a family to race together and both have success in the same season?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Honestly, sorry. I was really happy to see him get in victory lane at the beginning of the season. You know, even if it's the ARCA Series, I know he hasn't found it yet in the Truck Series, but to win the first race in the ARCA Series of a new series that we created here in CRL, it's definitely special. And the fact that I've also won in the same season, it's definitely special, because I mean that's why we do it. We want to compete for wins, and make our team High Five Racing, while also elevating the Clean Racing League to higher things. And I feel like, you know, tonight we really, you know, showed off how clean we were with the racing up front. But yeah, no, I'm super happy we both won, and might have to get some custom diecast made.
Absolutely. Well, you guys put on a show for us tonight, bud. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, got to start off thanking Ghost Athletics, and Ghost for sponsoring, you know, as well as Grant Designs with Jacob doing that, and everything they do for the Clean Racing League. Our coworker Smokey sponsored tonight's race. I think it was like the Smokey Roaches 102 or something. So he said he'd sponsor it because he thought I'd win. So I won. I hope he's happy. Money well spent, I guess. My teammates at High Five Racing, Bobby Mantle, Abram Ghost, Chris Smith, Jacob Grant. We got so many people that run on the ARCA Wednesdays. There's so many people, but just all in the High Five Racing. You guys for broadcasting. I know the Wednesday nights are a bit shorter, so they go by a little bit quicker. But I appreciate you guys for what you do, and I'm just ready to get on next week.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats again, Caleb. I know this is a special win for you. Go out there and celebrate with your team, and we'll see you next week, okay?
All right. Thank you.
There you go, Caleb Smith. And like I said, it is a special thing. Like I said, to be able to come out here, I talk about it week in and week out there, Joshua, being able to talk to the family members out there, watching their favorite drivers and so forth and so on. But to be able to get out here and compete, and we do have some family members do, but not only to compete, to get wins, like you said, that's just awesome to see. This guy here, though, Bobby Mantle, he tried to get up here. Bobby, join the booth, got a copy.
I hear you.
Well, you tried everything you could out there. Do you think maybe... Well, first off, is there anything else you could have done to keep Caleb back there? And do you think maybe that pit strategy he did maybe kind of threw you off a little bit?
No, I was ready for the short pit. Honestly, if I was in his position, is exactly what I would have done. But I think in order for me to beat him tonight, I would have needed to have a perfect race. Because honestly, I only made 2, maybe 3 minor little mistakes, and that's all it took. So he put the pressure on me. That was a hell of a race, and hats off to him for that win. He had to work for it.
Absolutely, and that's what he said. Now, you got to ask out there, because the area it looks like he was beating the most was going through the bus stop. Is there something about that? Because going in wasn't too bad, but coming out, he was getting such a great run. Were you maybe struggling a little bit in that area, or just something off, or what was your take going through that bus stop area?
I think we just had different approaches. I was running the way I was comfortable, and I saw he was taking a bit of a wider entrance into it, and I don't see that late in the race. Once I saw what he was doing, I wasn't comfortable changing up. I figured just stick to my guns, what I'm comfortable with, and just keep driving the way I was. But yeah, he was getting a great exit, and everywhere else we were pretty well right on par with each other. It was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely dead even right there along with him. How was your tires, though? I mean, were they going away there at the end? I mean, because you tried everything. It was an exciting battle. I will say that.
The tires were great because mine were 1 lap fresher than his. So I was trying to push it just to stay with him, but save a little bit for the end. And I think with 3 to go, I drifted it out of the carousel, and that was pretty much game over. I lost way too much time. I managed to run him down a little bit more on that last lap, but I'm sure as you guys saw, I was pushing the limits of it. I drifted through the last 2 corners and gassed it up just a little bit too early on the last one. I figured, hell, I got nothing to lose, go all out, because I knew I had a good gap between me and Mike Kelly behind. So I tried everything. Unfortunately, it was just a little too much, and I don't know if I would have even gotten there, but it was close, and it made for a hell of a finish.
Oh, absolutely. Y'all two battled out there all night long. Got a good race between you and Caleb. It was exciting for me and Joshua to see out here, but came home second tonight. Got anybody you want to thank?
I got to shout out Caleb. That was hands down the best race I've ever had at Watkins Glen. I always have a ton of fun here, but that one takes the cake. And out of all the road racing I've done, that's easily a top 3. It was the most fun I've had in a long time. So got to give a big shout out to him. Congrats on the win. Shout out to you guys for putting this on. I'm really excited to watch it back. And I got to say thanks to the guys here at High Five Racing for bringing me in this season. It's been a ton of fun.
There you go. Bobby Mantle bringing home in second. Well, Joshua, hey, I don't know what else more you'd want in a road race. We had some awesome battles. Guys having a little bit of trouble out there. Unfortunately, had some pit strategies. But, man, what an exciting night.
Yeah, I mean, for a road race, I know sometimes it can get a little dull, but it definitely wasn't tonight. Bobby Mantle, Caleb Smith both put on a heck of a show for us. We were spoiled being able to watch them battle for pretty much from the drop of the green to the drop of the checkered flag. So, I think Bobby said it, perfectly. In order for him to win, he was going to have to run a perfect race, and we saw him just make a mistake here or there, and Caleb was able to pounce on it. But like we talked about, Joe, what a night for Caleb Smith to come out and get his first win of the season. Kind of put himself right in the middle of the championship battle now, and just the whole family aspect and dynamic we talked about with Chris Smith and everything else. I think no matter if it's virtual or real life, but family and racing just always goes together. So it's cool stories to see.
Absolutely. Well, folks, man, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to leave Watkins Glen tonight for the Clean Racing League ARCA Series presented by Grant's Designs. And everybody out there, all the great sponsors, all the drivers, appreciate Joshua coming up here in the booth. But for myself and everyone, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night.